first for the Bucs. Zeke Elliott broke the dog. Jalen Smith. That is a play to remember. Oh, what a tackle by Jalen Smith.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Frisco Report, post-combine edition. We have a lot of news to hit you guys with. So, Mike, first off, how are you feeling about this Tuesday, headed into the hump day on Wednesday?
I'm feeling good, man. The week's going by pretty fast. I can't believe it's already going to be the middle of the week. Yeah. And we got a lot to cover, Joe.
Lots to cover. Lots of scenarios, lots of free agency stuff. Just a jam-packed show, guys. We're going to hit you with free agency, franchise tag, combine, stock up and down. We're going to go over a mock draft, a new one that came out here for NFL.com. And then we'll close out with some other topics. But let's get right into it, Mike. Free agency. Franchise tag is looming. We're about a week out now. I don't know. Did they decide to kick it back a couple of days, or is it still on the 10th? Have you read anything on that yet?
Yeah, from what I understand, it's still on the 10th.
Okay.
And the transition and the exclusive all still stand, so the Cowboys can actually still use 2 tags.
Yeah. So that's where this is at now. The wrench can still come into effect with. If a new CBA happens after the fact. So I don't know what the NFL plans to do on that kind of situation, as far as like, let's say, they give the transition to Amari and then the new CBA comes out and then he's free. You know what I mean? So how are they going to attack that? I think the possible can of worms. Cowboys need to be prepared. And I just, for me, I want at least one of these guys to be signed, and not have to worry about using that second tag. What's your thoughts, Mike?
They got to get one of them signed, and it looks like, for me, Joe, looking in, it looks like the easiest one would probably get Amari Cooper done. No Dak hate, no Dak shade. It's just quarterback market value, contract length, guarantees. I mean, so much play into it versus a wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
So the safe bet is to just throw that exclusive tag on Dak Prescott. It will cost the Cowboys $33 million. Get you a long-term deal for the guy you gave up a first-round pick for, and just don't let him walk away that fast, because that right there is going to hurt. And Amari Cooper should get that extension first, just because number-wise, it's easier, Joe.
No, I totally agree. I think as far as a competent front office, you have to get that Amari deal done. If you traded a first-round pick away, and then consequently that draft class, we talked about this last week, it affected the draft class. You bombed out, right? So, maybe Pollard, I think probably it looks like he's going to give you some value, and we'll see about Hill. But, there's a lot going on there that you can't just let the guy walk out the door. It would be a colossal mistake by the front office, and then it'll just continue to be black eyes, another black eye in the front office, just continuing to blow it with wide receivers. This is the third wide receiver we've traded for. Yeah, draft picks. So can't do it. Got to get him done, and we need him. And Mike McCarthy likes wide receivers. He likes to push the pedal to the metal. You don't have Amari Cooper, you're gonna have to probably get you a mid-tier guy, somebody, but you probably have to draft somebody early, right? So
good point.
The whole thing can really jack up your off-season strategy, especially with the draft. But circling back to Prescott, Mike, okay? So, the contract length, I think, is what's holding this up. Supposedly, he wants a shorter contract, 3 or 4 years. Cowboys want 5 or 7, somewhere like they want a longer contract. So for Dak Prescott, does he want the money now, all up front in the short time span? Probably. That's probably the route that the player wants to go.
That's smart business on a player.
Yeah, smart business. But you're looking at a long-term deal, kind of like Tyron did with a 10-year decade contract. He He's got all his money pretty much, but you know, if Dak Prescott gets a long contract like that, it's going to take him a while to get all those guaranteed money, you know, and you don't know what can happen. So it's a tricky situation the Cowboys are finding themselves in, you know.
Let me ask you this, Joe. Let's say Dak does win a 3-year deal. Usually 3-year deals when it comes to quarterbacks is usually all guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So $85 million for 3 years, all guaranteed. That's guaranteeing him $85 million. Guaranteed. The whole contract, 1,000% guaranteed. That's $28 million a year. Do you think he would take that 85 guaranteed in 3 years?
It sure will be tempting for a player. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of guarantee money.
And not only that, it's not like Dak Prescott's hurting. You know, he's got a lot of these deals, endorsements with the yogurt and several. You know, he's got several deals out there. Yeah, the Campbell soup. He's got a lot of high profile ones, man. You know, these are commercials that make the Dallas Cowboy quarterback a household name. You know, every face of the team, of the quarterback, they get out there. You know, but still, you know, the work on the field, he's got a better record than Wentz. Wentz, he doesn't even come close to me when you're comparing stats and wins and durability and all this thing. I don't have any checks that go in Wentz's favor over Prescott. I Wentz interceptions, all kinds of crap. You know, they're talking about, what if Amari Cooper goes to the Eagles? Like, okay, but somebody's got to throw him the ball. Are they going to go get Nick Foles? Because it's not going to be Wentz getting the ball to Amari. He can't even get it to Alshon Jeffrey. You know?
That's a good point. So, and then let's say they did a 3-year, $90 million deal, all guaranteed. That's still $30 million a year. So, if Cowboys are smart, I would present it like that, because it's going to save you money.
Yeah, it's all strategy, and you would hope that these guys had this already kind of played out, you know, in the meetings, as far as like, this is what we're going to do, this is the plan. I mean, Stephen Jones came out and said that they were close to landing the plane. They were very close. And is it true or is it not? That's why I've always been saying, take everything these guys take with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Because something's not adding up here. Why is it not done yet?
I think it's the agent. I don't maybe, and I'm going to give Dak the benefit of the doubt on my thinking here in this situation. Maybe it's the agent, because I mean, agents, he just ain't the agent of Dak Prescott. He's the agent of multiple NFL players, Joe. And there's a new CBA agreement that's about to take place. Mm-hmm. Cap space is about to grow. Cap revenue is going to grow. So the agents, like, and players, you know, the one that just got done doing the combines are looking for agents. And they're saying, oh, you really screwed over Dak Prescott because you let him sign that deal early when you knew there was going to be a new CBA coming out. Mm-hmm. So I think the agent, just for representation of other players in the future, is like, whoa, Dak, I can't let you sign this yet because there's a new CBA coming.
Yeah, it really is. It's almost a perfect storm of events, you know, and something's got to give, you know. And to me, it looks like it's heading towards the franchise tag, you know, because I mean, we're a week away, you know, and yeah, deadlines make deals, but it hasn't necessarily for the Cowboys. They dragged on Ezekiel Elliott. That deadline didn't mean crap. You know, he missed all of training camp, all of the all that stuff, you know, and you know, it's not necessarily true that the deadlines make deals. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Zeke's situation is a bit different than Dak's, and here's my thinking around this one, Joe. Hear me out. The 5th-year option. What was the 5th-year option Zeke was going to get paid? Versus the franchise tag, Dak could be potentially paid. Yeah. So there's a huge money gap there.
Yeah.
And
that's
true.
So
you know, they knew that fifth-year option and the money wasn't right for what Zeke and Co was looking for. So when Dak Prescott's, I mean, Dak, he might hold out a little bit, but he ain't gonna hold out the entire offseason. He's not gonna let $33 million just go back into the Cowboys' pocket.
Yeah, it's wishful thinking, but this new age of players, they're finding ways to finagle their way out of a team. Getting a trade done, getting out of wherever they're at, and whether it's Fitzpatrick or any of these guys. So
okay, you brought up Fitzpatrick, who's done great for the Steelers, but tell me where Antonio Brown's at now. Let me know how good of a season Le'Veon Bell had. So that there's players doing it, but karma, sweet karma, it hasn't been good for those guys doing it. Fitzpatrick's a different story because he's done great on that Steelers defense, but that's just history when it comes to Steelers defense. But 1 out of 3, I don't know. Players got to watch out.
Well, you got Ramsey as well from the Rams. I mean, it's just a different kind of player. They want their deals and they're gonna stick by their guns. So I don't know, man. It's a risky thing. I'd rather get it out of the way. If he's your franchise quarterback, get the deal done. It's getting super annoying here, waiting to see what domino effect this is gonna have, because I think that's your biggest domino. Once this falls, then you're really gonna know what you need to do the rest of the way, right? So franchise tag kind of looks like that's where it's gonna go, but then the dominoes fall from there, So you're gonna tie up a big chunk of money in year 1 for Dak. Byron Jones, all indications are he's walking out the door, but they cannot let both of these guys walk, especially Amari Cooper. I just can't see that happening. If that happens, if you're letting Byron Jones and Amari Cooper walk, we're rebuilding. That's it. There's no soft rebuild. I know we've kind of been talking about this, a little bit of a soft rebuild. It'll be full blown rebuild because you're replacing major parts of your team here.
Oh, I do, and that's the frustrating part, and that's why. Wide receivers are a bit easier to sign, and this is why I'm saying that. Is because you already gave a first-round pick for a wide receiver. Hypothetically, I mean, not hypothetically. I mean, they did it, but he wasn't really a first. If you get what I mean.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure all the viewers do. And so, if you're going to allocate another first-round draft pick for another wide receiver, it's not good news.
Yeah.
And
not competent.
You especially, like, to your point, you can't let Byron Jones go and you can't let Amari Cooper go because you just shot yourselves in both foot, because you have to use that draft pick for a DB, whether it's corner or safety. You have to retain Amari Cooper.
Yeah, that's where this thing is at, and it's gonna tell us. It's gonna be a clue as to what the season is gonna be. Is it gonna be rebuilding? Then okay, I'll accept that. First year with Mike McCarthy, we're rebuilding, but a lot of the fans are like, this is supposed to be a win now move. All we supposedly needed was the coach to get us over the hump, and here we are rebuilding. It's not gonna sit well with fans, It
wouldn't sit well with me if we let both of those players go.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Because the value of that first round pick we gave up for Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm. No doubt, man, no doubt. So that's what's happening right now. We're exactly a week out. This is March 10th is when the deadline happens. So they gotta know what they're gonna do there. So that is a deadline. But moving along here, the combine wrapped up. You and I talked, throughout the combine offline and things like that. But let's talk about who boosted their stock. There's some new favorites in the mock drafts. We kind of predicted that would happen. C.J. Henderson out of Florida is getting a lot of buzz right now. Over Delpit, over McKinney, over Christian Fulton, over Diggs, and for good reason. He really showed out in the combine. All the measurables: 6'1", 200 pounds. Has the speed, looks good in the hips. I mean, you're looking at a cornerback here who looks NFL ready. All right, but
Can't argue that.
Mike, let me know who stood out for you? Like, do you feel anybody stock that went up, or did anybody drop in your opinion?
Oh, rising up, Isaiah Simmons had a Jeff Udoka. So many defensive guys. I mean, the linebacker. I didn't realize how deep the linebacker draft class was. I mean, and the linebackers did amazing. But Isaiah Simmons, I mean, he's obviously a top 10 talent already, but just he really, really stepped up and did some good things. CD Lamb, I made an amazing sideline catch. Really nice feet, Joe. I mean, there's so many good things at that 17th position that the Cowboys have to go with. But I mean, just stock falls. Delpit had a fall for me. I mean, he didn't even work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. It was that just to choose not to, not a good look, because like we said last week, he was already coming into this with some red flags with having a down season and the ankle. Is he injury prone? Is he a Morris Claiborne of the safeties? It's kind of scary, but I think Epinesa, I think he's gonna fall in some mock drafts here. There's a lot of resetting that happens here with the combine because you get what you see in games versus what the player is. Did they prepare for this? Because that's part of the evaluation. Did the player take this combine serious? Are they out of shape? Did they not look as good as they did on tape? Like, that becomes a question mark. Like, why isn't this matching up? Like, a prime example for me is Jalen Reagor, the wide receiver, TCU.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are expecting him to run a 4.39 or 4.4 or something like that. He came out and ran like a 4.6 or something like that, or 4.59, something like that. It wasn't anywhere near. But then Daniel Jeremiah and they made the point that they looked like he got some advice to bulk up, so maybe that slowed him down. So those are the types of questions that come into play with this. So for me, for Epinesa, when he was doing the figure 8 drill, where they go around the two circles and pick up the beanbag and drop it off, I didn't see the bend there that I wanted to, but he's not a bend player. He's a power rush, bull rush type of player. But for me, if you're looking for that type of player, I think 17 is too rich for him. If that's all he's giving you, because there's no real speed edge, there's not really a bend there. He's more of a technician, and power. So if you remember in 2008, or when DeMarcus Ware came out, he was your outside linebacker, and then we had another first round pick in that draft, Marcus Spears, right? And that was like number 20 something. They drafted him as a 5 tech, and that was a defensive end in your 3-4. To me, that's what Epinesa is. I think, I don't know if I don't see him as an outside linebacker. He's not slow. I mean, he's not fast enough, and he's not twitchy enough for me. So he's more of a 5 tech, or one of these hybrid Tyron Crawford type of defensive end / defensive tackle power kind of guy. And I don't know if taking him, I don't know if taking him at 17, the value is there for him. So he's an example of a player that I see that is probably going to drop in this combine. I mean, in the draft, But there's a lot of the receivers showed up, man. The receivers really showed out for me. I think it is deep. It is deep, and the quality's pretty good. So.
Jerry Jeudy's
good, man. He's a good receiver. Someone's gonna get a good receiver. First round receivers, they're there, man.
They are. I mean, CB Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Higgins. A lot of these guys did some good things.
Yeah.
And just the size of Higgins, dude, 6'4". Jeez Louise, there's some good wide receivers there.
Oh, and that's the thing about these receivers. It's your what is your craving? Do you want your slot speed guy? Do you want your outside receiver with some size? Do you want an outside guy with speed and route running ability? There's all types there. Um,
Hmm.
I know you and I get asked this question a lot. Is Denzel? What do you guys think about Denzel Mims? He had for all intents and purposes, he had a really solid combine. Um, but for me, it's a risky pick. It's a Big 12 receiver, and Big 12 receivers just don't translate well. Not to say that there aren't some that have. I mean, obviously, Des Bryant is probably the more recent one out of the Big 12 that succeeded in the NFL. CeeDee Lamb, I think he'll do good because I feel like he's ready to go. He's ready to rock and roll. But Denzel Mims, he's a later round guy for me. I know some people are trying to throw him into the first round, but I'm like, I can't do it and say it with a straight face. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. No, and I don't blame you. I mean, I don't blame you at all. But I mean, just the how did the defensive tackles, cornerbacks, strong safeties? Who stood out to you in those position groups, Joe?
Defensive tackles were really good too, man. This is another deep. If you're looking for defense and the Cowboys need it, this draft is tailor made for them. Like they really need a hit on these picks. So defensive tackles, I mean, they did their thing, man. They look good out there. I like Gallimore from Oklahoma. He really surprised me. I thought he was going to be more of a slower, hulking type of one tech type of player, but he's got some athleticism to him, and he's pretty fast for his size. So he looked good.
A 4.79.
Yeah,
4.79 for him.
that's good for these big men. And Blacklock from TCU, he looked good. He looked
A
really
4.9.
good. Yeah, his who else? Man, there was some other one that I really liked in there.
I'm with you on Blacklock though. Impressive.
Yeah, he looked good. And obviously the main guys that they talk about, Kinlaw didn't participate, but
No.
these other ones that did participate. Brown from Auburn, he looked good. Marlon Davidson, that's the guy I was trying to remember. The Auburn defensive end, very powerful. Did good in the figure eight drill. So that shows some athleticism. To me, he's a better player than Epinesa. Like I know some people have had Epinesa at 17, Marlon Davidson a little bit lower in the 20s. For my money, I would take Davidson over him. No question. He just the motor's crazy. He showed up to this combine ready to rock and roll, knocked everything out the park pretty much. He looked really good to me. Really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Linebackers, I mean, they were. I felt like they went a little deeper than I thought, but I still think that if you need somebody to come in here and contribute, I think, late third is it might be your cutoff, and then you might get some rotational guys in your fourth and fifth round, which maybe that's what the Cowboys need, but you never know. Where's the recovery process on LVE? Is he in fact going to be ready or not? It doesn't sound like they're going to give him any physical anything. And this is something that Daryl Johnston had talked about. Had a similar procedure. He said it was a fusing of the neck. Now Cowboys said that this was a minor deal. No neck surgery is minor. Right?
No surgery is minor.
Yeah, no surgery. And then neck surgery, forget it. So we'll see how that comes along, man. I think that's a linebacker, something that they're going to have to address.
I think they're going to have to address it within the first 3 rounds, Joe.
And you can get you a good one. The one that I liked was Tanner Muse out of Clemson. He's a safety. He did the safety drills, looked really good. but he really stood out to me. He had long arms. It looked like Leighton Vander Esch, and I was like, why is this guy out here doing drills with safeties? And I was like, oh, that's the Clemson safety. but
Mhm.
uh, but then they even talked about it on camera. Even they brought it up. So I was like, my evaluation, it matched because in my mind I was like, this guy looks like a linebacker. He doesn't look like a safety, but his stats are great. He's got good hands. He'll get the turnovers. They're talking about you can convert this guy to a weak side linebacker. Perfect. You know,
Yeah,
perfect. And
yeah,
you can get him later. This
yeah,
guy,
yeah. You
yeah.
could probably get him in the third or fourth, honestly.
Yeah, maybe later. So it's he could be a steal. So keep an eye on that guy there. But yeah, this combine really, I I think I liked it better than last year. Talking about talent wise, I felt last year was
For the defense side of the ball, or just all exclusive.
I like everybody. What doesn't get really talked about are these running backs. The running backs were crazy good. Like Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. This guy's gonna be a beast, dude. This guy's gonna be your next premier back right there with Saquon and Zeke and this kind of guys. He's right there. So, but the running back position goes through like these ebbs and flows where they feel like the league feels like they overpaid Gurley, they overpaid Zeke and David Johnson, right? So now we're back on the downside where people don't want to pay the running back. Derrick Henry, he's gonna face that. They don't want to pay him the big bucks. So
No.
he's probably, if they don't franchise tag Derrick Henry in Tennessee, he'll be a free agent and he'll get his money. But
Hmm.
this running back class, it's loaded. It's got some really good players in it. And for me, what I like about it is I feel like the Cowboys can get something out of this as far as like churning the back end of their practice squad guys. Darius Jackson, some of these other guys that people fall in love with, they don't make the team. Cowboys only carry 2 running backs. And that's what it's going to be next year. And it's just going to keep being that. They're not going to carry 3 running backs. But you got to have somebody sitting in your practice squad. So I feel good about these running backs. They're going to be able to get,
Hmm.
they might even take one in the 7th round, but for sure, undrafted, there'll be some good quality running backs out there.
Hmm. No, I think you're right, and I mean the running backs. I mean they look good to me, and so no, I'm with you there, dude.
Offensive tackles, I think, I think they were okay. I think this is another one that's somewhat deep, but if you want a premier guy, it's your first 2 rounds. You know, Cowboys met with Tristan Wirfs, the big tackle out of Iowa.
Hmm.
He that guy's big, man. He's fast, he's big, he's athletic. He can play your left tackle. Mekhi Becton, Louisville, really big, gigantic guy. Kind of reminds me of a Leonard Davis type of guy. So, but he's a huge man. I mean, if he's so big, I think he's gonna have to stay at tackle. I mean, he could play guard, but he's just so big. But
Hmm.
it's all about these teams. They're tackle thirsty, so that's why for the Cowboys in this draft, there's gonna be some badass players sitting right there in our lap at 17. I can almost guarantee it. There might be a quarterback there. There's gonna be a premier receiver there, a cornerback. They're gonna have somebody staring them right in the face. So, who's gonna make that call? Is this gonna be one of those Stephen Jones takes the card from Jerry Jones situation? We'll see.
It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. But I thought the combine, like you said, on just a lot of depth, and even when the draft ends, you could probably get you some undrafted free agents to replace some of these Garrett guys over there.
And it's a shame that the only thing I didn't really like about the combine is they seem to ignore fullbacks.
Mm.
And in starting the draft this year, I actually was looking at some fullbacks because I feel like McCarthy has utilized fullback, before. They used the fullback almost as a H back where he can move people out of the way, the linebackers, and catch the ball out of the backfield. So um, they didn't bring any of these guys in really, but there's a couple that I think the Cowboys will kick the tires and free agent, undrafted free agents. So. And we'll definitely talk about that, as we get closer to the draft and we start doing some of our own mock drafts. Mike, we'll hit some of these players.
That sounds good to me, man. I can't wait to get into it, man. Free agency's coming up March 18th. I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
it's football season.
It's a big day. You get the pre-tampering period where a lot of the big ticket names come off the board. So it's man, we're days away. It's like what, a week and a half or somewhere like that.
Yeah, it's getting close.
Yeah. Now, so talking post combine, Mike, Daniel Jeremiah, he did a post combine mock draft, and at 17, he gives the Cowboys CeeDee Lamb, the wide receiver. What's your take on Cowboys taking CeeDee Lamb with Amari Cooper or without him? What is your take on just drafting that player no matter what?
No matter what, well, if we're drafting CeeDee Lamb, it's because Amari Cooper is in another uniform, I think. Because if we keep Amari Cooper, all the Cowboy fans wanting Dez back, you can kiss that goodbye. I don't know, that's an interesting draft pick to me, just because. But and I don't know what holes they filled in free agency from other players coming in. But just the talent aspect of it, Joe, hands down, this ain't even a safe pick. This is a great pick, just because the talent that CeeDee Lamb can bring to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you're right on with that, Mike. Now let me ask you this. Let me throw this scenario out to you, okay? Let's say tomorrow or before the deadline, Dak Prescott signs a contract and they use the franchise tag on Amari Cooper. Okay, so you at least have Amari Cooper for the franchise tag 1 year deal. Would you be okay with taking CeeDee Lamb still, or would you be like, nah, we'll wait until 2021?
That's a good point. I would be comfortable with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. That just. I mean, how do you stop these guys? How would you stop the Cowboys if you had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Cobb, and Michael Gallup, and Zeke? How do you stop that? Is it unstoppable?
I think it is. I think it ain't. I mean, I think it's really good stuff. My Surface Pro is going crazy. It's unstoppable. I think you just can't stop that. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Gallup, Randall Cobb, Zeke. Who knows what kind of tight end they bring in, Joe?
That's one thing that we should hit on. So, look, like, all indications are that Jason Witten will hit free agency. They're already talking about him possibly linking up with Garrett in New York, which is fine. I'm not going to throw anything on Witten. He's the GOAT. He did a lot for the team, so I have nothing bad to say about him. But I am glad that we're able to move on. But now we're entering that the unknown. All right. So whenever the Cowboys had Jay Novacek with Aikman and Irvin, Novacek retired. We had that gap of just garbage, mediocre, just a body there, right? Until we got Witten in 2000. Finding the next Novacek, and we found it with Witten. So my question to you, Mike, is do you feel that we're possibly entering into that great unknown where we're going to be struggling to find another tight end, or do you feel good about Blake Jarwin in the second round tender?
I feel good with Blake Jarwin, but I'm not overexcited about it. I feel like they can bring in maybe like an Eric Ebron. And, Eric Ebron, if you have Eric Ebron and you have Blake Jarwin, those guys ain't very good blockers. So you got to find a blocking tight end. And someone that can block, someone that has really good hands. Dalton Schultz that's all he did at Stanford was block. He had 9 passes thrown to him, and I don't think he's had that opportunity. With Jason Witten coming back, playing 70% of the snaps, him going in for like 3 plays. We drafted him. What was 4th, 5th round? I think if you want to develop Schultz, have Jarwin and bring someone else in. I think with having Schultz there to be your blocker when need be, I think that could help. But I'm good with Jarwin, but I'm not overexcited about it. If that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense, and that's where I'm at with it too. And we've talked about this before too. He looks good in small sample size, but when they gave him the keys, he didn't look good. This will be the second opportunity with the keys. All right, so what changes is he making? Is he in the lab working on his craft? Is he just taking this as it's his time, and he's not going to work as hard because now he kind of earned it by de facto Witten walking off, or what is it? So there's a question mark there for tight end, but I'm with you on it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with it, but if we can get better, we should.
and I think you brought up an excellent point about fullbacks. Jameez Awalier, he's on. The Cowboys have the option to pick it up or not, and he did some amazing things at Oakland. Catching the balls, but it just seemed like he just didn't fit right with Dak Prescott as the quarterback, and he didn't fit right in the offensive scheme we're running. Because when he was in there trying to be that guy he was at Oakland, it just didn't look good at all. I mean, he wasn't even looking for balls half the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mike McCarthy used a fullback, Patrick Chung. Was that his name? Or it was Kung or something like that. He did use a fullback in his tenure in Green Bay, and I expect for him to have a traditional, hard-nosed Moose Johnson fullback on the Dallas Cowboy team.
Yeah. I think the player was Kuhn.
Kuhn, there you go. Thank you.
Something Kuhn. But yeah, that's the guy there. And if you're looking for like a Kuhn or a Kyle Juszczyk or something like that, that's the type of fullback McCarthy is probably going to be looking for. Because I feel like you need that. You need that presence. DeMarco Murray, his best season was that fullback with who was it? Fiametta. I mean, I feel like that's the last decent fullback we've had here.
Yeah.
And he was really just an undrafted.
He was huge.
Yeah, he got people out of the way.
I had the opportunity to see him and that guy was he was so short, but he was just a bowling ball of muscle, dude. It was crazy to see him in person.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that's the type of frame that Kuhn was for the Packers, and I feel like they had another guy before him as well, that was like that. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I know that they've had a couple of pretty decent fullbacks with play catching ability. So something to keep an eye out for the Cowboys. All right, Mike. So I asked my viewers on my channel to throw in some questions if they had some. So let's get to a couple here. All right. I'll throw this one out to you. This one comes from Donnell Jenkins. We need a little upgrade at the safety position, but if we keep Jeff Heath, do you think he's willing to take a role as a special teams ace? Because I think he would blossom at that position.
I think he has to. He was second in the National Football League, or led the National Football League in missed tackles at that strong safety position. And special teams, I mean, that's his ace. That's why he has an NFL career. Joe, is because special teams. And this football team with this new era, this Mike McCarthy era, would be crazy to think Jeff Heath is a top 17 strong safety in the National Football League. I just don't see that. And I think Heath knows that he probably has to be a special team ace. And he has the right special teams coordinator in John Fossil to be elite in a John Fossil special team. And that's only going to boost his career.
Very good. Very good. I agree with that. Yeah, I think that's his calling. You know, that's what he's good at. Let him do that, you know, and develop you or draft a safety. You know, a lot of people kind of forgot about Donovan Wilson, you know, and he was the one that had the most turnovers, and all of us were like, we need more turnovers. We need more turnovers. Mm-hmm. And that guy was getting it done. He was snatching the ball out the air. So, yeah, that's.
Great question, Donnell Jenkins. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Got another one here from VTPSTTU. Mm-hmm. He's got a question here. Here we go, Mike. Do you think the Cowboys need both Randy Gregory and Robert Quinn? If Randy Gregory were reinstated, would that make you more likely to let go of Quinn? If Randy Gregory were reinstated, would you rather keep Quinn or try to trade Gregory?
VTPSTTU, great question. I think you need both. And here's why I'm saying that. You look at the best defenses in the National Football League, what do they have? Rotating defensive linemen that can pick up the pace where Unit 1 left off and Unit 2 can go in there and don't miss a beat. And when you have Robert Quinn and you have Randy Gregory on that right side, Joe, it's going to cause mayhem for defenses. And then you can move DeMarcus Lawrence inside, have Randy Gregory on one side, Robert Quinn on the other, and your new drafted defensive tackle right there with it. Third and long situations, I guarantee you 90% of the time they're going to get a sack.
I agree. I totally agree, man. It's you got to keep both. As far as trying to trade Gregory, you're not going to get any value for him. You know, I think a lot of the fans think that we can get, you know, what we drafted them for. Like, if you were to trade Gregory, you're getting a 7th rounder. You know, you're not going to get a 2nd round pick. You know what I mean? Somebody might not even trade for him. So,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I would keep them both. You know, and if this CBA does get approved, Randy Gregory is, you know, he's in the driver's seat to come back. You know, it's exciting. But yeah, I would definitely keep Quinn. Because you can't. Yeah, I mean, you just can't count on Gregory. You know. You don't know what shape he's going to be in. Can he play a full 16 or 17? You know, we're talking about adding another game here in the playoffs, so a 17 week, right? So it's uncharted waters for Gregory. But I would welcome that combo, man. That would be insane.
Yeah, you need both to have and Gregory's so cheap.
Yeah, you're getting a deal, and young player still hasn't accumulated enough vested time to even hit restricted free agency. I mean, that's how much time Gregory has missed. That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, he still hasn't.
Sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. Same subscriber has another question here. If the Cowboys can't keep Byron Jones and don't pick up a good cornerback in free agency, is there any way they can afford not to take a cornerback with the first pick?
And this is what I was talking about earlier in the show. Mm-hmm. Except, you know, with Amari Cooper, that's why Amari Cooper is value right now with the Cowboys is so important because of this right here. They cannot afford not to take a cornerback in the first round. They have to take a corner in the first round. And I mean, that Amari Cooper's so important, dude, because this situation right here can happen, Joe. And that you have to wrap up Amari Cooper so they can go for that corner or strong safety in the first round.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. You got to do it. You would have to do it. What would be your ideal plan for free agency? We kind of hit on that earlier in the video. We kind of went over what needs to happen there, what we hope happens. Is Dak getting paid? This is from Enrique Martinez. Is Dak getting paid, Mike?
Enrique Martinez, talking Dak it's politics, man. It's like I'm on a debate stage sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Enrique has had to come with this question. He might be getting paid with the franchise tag. I'll answer it like that.
Yeah, that's a safe answer, but it's true. I mean, he is going to get paid. I have no doubt that he's going to get paid. Even if it's just franchise tag, but he'll get it. He'll get a contract. Dez, is he on the team or is he not going to make the team? I guess this is coming from Rick Smith. I guess he's asking, is Dez going to be on the Cowboys this year or not?
Rick Smith, great question, but I highly doubt it. I mean, Jerry can think about it in the shower all he wants, but I can tell you where he's not thinking about it, and that's in his general manager office.
Yeah. I think it's just more of fans holding on to that their yesteryear, because it seems like so recent, but it's really not. If you think about when Dez was at his prime, it was that 2014 season where we got robbed, in Green Bay.
And the whole Dez thing, it's sidetracking me. And I'll tell you why it's sidetracking me. What else do these fans want that want Dez Bryant on this football? What more do they want from the Dallas Cowboy wide receivers? I mean, Amari Cooper, you can't tell me Dez is better than Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup is emerging to be a potential number one wide receiver on this team or somebody else's here in the next couple of years. Randall Cobb had probably the best year he's ever had as a wide receiver in his NFL career.
Yeah.
I don't know what more do they want from Amari, Gallup, and Cobb, because I don't see room for Dez Bryant. He don't play special teams. I don't think he's going to kick back a return for you. He broke his leg his rookie year trying to run back a return. Yeah, he's returned some, but it ain't Devin Hester back there. It ain't Deion Sanders back there. It's 31-year-old Dez Bryant.
Yeah, man, it's that's what it is. He would get caught up in the numbers game, and if you're talking about Amari Cooper, Gallup, Cobb, and then you probably have two more receivers, right? So you got like somebody's got to play special teams, and then you got the guy that barely makes it. So and we're talking about they're probably going to draft the receiver. So do you want to bring him to camp maybe as a camp body? Maybe, but
no, because and I wish this seed was never planted in people's heads with Dez Bryant, because
yeah.
When things are going to go wrong, they're going to say, "Oh, they should have signed Dez Bryant." Mm-hmm. If Dez Bryant's the 4th string or 5th string on this football team, why aren't we playing Dez Bryant? And so we just got to move on. Just like I want to move on from Jason Witten, as bad as that hurts me to say. Dez Bryant, he go play on another team, and if he does well, he does well. But he don't have room on this football team, Joe, and that's why the seed should have never been planted.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I love Dez. I will always continue to support his goal. I know he's trying to get back in the NFL, and I hope he does, but I just don't see where the numbers fit with the Cowboys and what they're trying to do right now,
Exactly, and you're spot on with them. They're going to be drafting a wide receiver some point in this draft, probably the fourth round. If they hit on the first 2 picks, hell, it might be the 3rd round. Either way, you're going to have wide receivers on this football team because Michael Gallup's contract's coming up, and you can't afford Amari Cooper and Gallup.
Yeah, that's it, man. And McCarthy, we talked about this. He's always prepared. He has one in the chamber, ready to go. So who's gonna be that guy? Who's it gonna be? It's gonna come from this draft class, I think. Whether it's a 2nd or 3rd rounder, that's gonna be the guy that's gonna probably end up being the guy that moves into the place of Cooper if it's a short term, or Gallup if they can't re-sign him because he's emerging and he's He's the real deal. He's a good number 2. Possibly could be a number 1 for somebody. Somebody will see Michael Gallup as a number 1 for their team and pay him big bucks. You know,
And I don't blame him.
I mean, look what Terrence Williams got out of the Cowboys. He got himself a second contract, and that guy was garbage.
Garbage. And he's on the couch, and he's been on the couch for a while.
Yeah. So that's yeah, they'll be drafting another receiver. I have no question about it. But that's it, guys. Jam packed to the max podcast. We went 50 minutes on this one. Just a lot to cover, man. Let us know what you guys think. You know, hit us up with the 5-star review. Give us some comments. Mike, let these guys know where they can find you.
And real quick, guys, if you watch this whole podcast, comment down below, go Cowboys, and it lets us know if you stay to the end of the show. But I'm on Dallas Cowboy Football News on YouTube and on Facebook, DCF News 1 on Twitter, guys. Make sure you share this podcast with a friend, guys, and listen to it in the shower, picking up the kids from school, on the way to work. But before you go to bed, make this a routine right here, listening to the Frisco Report. Thank you, Joe.
Well said. Everything Mike just said there, do it, guys. Do it. All right. But that's all we have, guys. We'll hit you up with another podcast next Tuesday. Make sure you tune in here, and we'll catch you for the next one, guys. Peace.